Please don't kill me. Partial successes at best. They remember how to fight, but that's about all they're good for. Named them after an old nursery rhyme. Damn things are always moaning all the time. I thought it might shut them up to give them a name. A horrible, messy, ugly place. Too dark to keep bodies preserved and too hot to keep them from stinking. Oh, to be back in a cave in Datir. He wasn't fit to hold my crucible, much less carry on my work. He could barely even stand to cut open a warm corpse for study. I can't imagine the reason you came back in his well instead of mine. Probably some freak attunement transfer. Arrogant fools, all of them. At least we could sneak past them when they were overconfident. Now that the army's at their gate, they'll be watching for us. Gadflow's got an empire built on Prismir. Think of all the power he's sitting on. And he's wasting it on swords and bows. Simple bone soldiers, easy enough for any decent mage to build and animate. They're not really alive any more than a puppet is. Vren, Defender of Pride. One of twin defenders, quite powerful in their homes. But did you know they were also entirely immune to each other's powers? And it seems the Defender of Valor quite disappeared when her house fell. Imagine how useful she would have been if she were here today. We were in Alabastra, and I never thought it'd be dangerous. At least, not very. Oh, don't give me that look. Accidents happen. You can't make an omelette without leaving a few corpses. Fine. We were collecting Prismir and Alabastra. We needed it to power the well, of course, and you got a wild idea to track down the source of the power. I tried to stop you. I really did. But you decided to sneak into Amethyst, and I wasn't about to get killed along with you. I spent days trying to get your corpse back, but to no avail. Much as I hate to admit it, I should thank Hughes for succeeding where I failed. After an unfortunate incident with the Templars, Octian decided to move my work someplace a little further from the public eye. We both felt that an island in another land behind the front lines of a war might just be far enough from prying eyes. I know the type. Lucky youth, peaked early, then crawled into a bottle and waited to die. I'm impressed you dragged him away from that bottle, but I wouldn't expect him to do any heavy thinking. You mean your deadly little shadow? I know her type. All smiles now, but it's just so she can get close enough to stick her knives in you. Get
I'll
going.
keep an eye on the
And
gnome.
remember, don't go near Dren until I get there.
I'm sure we can trust Ventrinio, but I'll keep an eye on him. I'll stay here and keep an eye on Ventrinio. We'll meet you at the field of Huber, to the south. Sidon says the barrier into Alabastra is a result of a Fae named Dren, the defender of pride, or so they say. All I know is that everyone who walks into that barrier falls to their knees and gets cut down if they don't get pulled back out. Everyone except Ventrinio. The House of Pride is the gateway to Alabastra. Until we can find a way through it, Gadflow can send his soldiers through. You got into Alabastra once. You can do it again.
So, it's off to face Dren, is it? Legend says it was where the first alliance between enemies was formed. And we Fae do so love to repeat legends, don't we? The House of Pride gave us our greatest leaders and most brilliant witches. And what's more, they were blessed with our defender, Dren. With Dren in his house, it could never fall. But we never thought it would succumb to the Tuatha's corruption. Dren is the defender of the House of Pride. He may help the Tuatha, but he doesn't serve them. Isn't that why you found that gnome? I certainly don't intend to bury Dren in bodies. What does one do in the face of certain death?
There's got to be a way through here. The House of Pride practically drips with curses and enchantments, but the most powerful one is Dren himself. Any luck finding Ventrinio and his big secret? Aelin and Ventrinio together? I wouldn't turn my back on either of them, but I suppose we haven't got much choice. Speaking of trouble, here they come. This can't end here.
Sometimes one soldier can do what an entire army.
You haven't tried going in there, have you? No, of course you haven't. You're still alive. This took a little longer to find than I had hoped, but it should be exactly what you need. Yes, but some of them were Fae. Now, did you know Dren had a twin sister in the Summer Court? She was immune to his power? Dith, the Defender of Valor, and even though she passed on when her house fell, my early experiments with the Well of Souls provided quite a useful surprise. You see, when trying to draw life energy from the ether, I accidentally captured her essence. I was able to bind it into this charm. With this, you will be immune to Dren's power. It's not as powerful as it used to be, and it's specific to Dren. But it'll let you face him and live. Now be fair. Fae don't have souls as mortals do. They're a form of magic with a physical form. And I only got a little of it anyway. Just enough for a certain degree of immunity to Dren's power. It only works for one person, but it'll be enough for you to reach him. Trouble is, he'll be immune to your power as well. But I'm sure you can think of something. With the essence of valor, you can withstand Dren's attacks. Stop being such a child and go face him. You've got his counterpart's essence, so he shouldn't be able to hurt you. What more do you want? So what if he's still invulnerable too? Go find a way around it. I can't do all of your thinking for you. I had no idea what a treasure I had when I first caught Dith's essence. It was just a curiosity sitting on a shelf for the longest time. What a pleasant surprise that she could be of use to someone after all this time, eh? Now, go show that defender what a little magic can do. Everyone says you're a hero now, so go on and be heroic.
Hi. Dren's one of the Sentinels, isn't he? I've heard they were a pair of twins, unkillable on their homelands, protecting their people from attack. I've heard stories about Dith, the other Sentinel, from the days when the House of Valor still stood. I heard about her, but she was before my time. All I know is she was some great hero of the House of Valor. I once toasted with her comrades at a statue to her, but even the statue crumbled long ago. I'd help you if I could, but it sounds like that essence only protects one person. But if something goes wrong, I'll try to pull you out.
Whatever you're planning, now is the time. Ventrinio says he has a way to defeat Dren. However he got into Alabastra before, you'll have to use it to put an end to Dren's defenses once and for all. Now I'm sure you have this well in hand. Good luck. You got into Alabastra once. You can do it again.
The essence of valor's defender. The gnome's depravity knows no depths. It's almost commendable. Dren and Death, the twin defenders of the Fae. Who would have thought they'd both fall to such ignominious ends? Yes, don't die. What does one do in the face of certain death?
Turn back or die. Bold words. The same bold words that your ally spoke, and they lie around us now. I made an oath to protect my house and my homeland. No power short of death can keep me from fulfilling my duties. I know your intentions are to free my people from the Tuatha. You seem an honorable sort. You even bear the blessing of my sister. But I have sworn an oath to defend my house and homeland. I cannot let you in without a fight, and you cannot win against me. If only things could be different. If only the Tuatha were gone and my sister was back. Enough. We could fight each other until the mountains wear away, but that will aid nothing. My sister and I were chosen to protect our kind. So long as our houses stood, the Fae would never pass from this world. I in pride, and she in valor. We never imagined that our houses could crumble beneath our feet. Mortals led to the collapse of my sister's house, but with Gadflow's help, they shall not have mine. He may taint pride with his Prismere and his obscene god, but it will keep us eternal. Before I knew the truth of Tuatha, I swore to keep my homeland safe from invaders. I could never have known what my people would become. Fae never change, and pride's honor never yields. There is another option. I cannot yield, but if your true intent is to slay Gadflow, then perhaps there is a way that my house and honor could remain pure. If you would promise to spare the House of Pride, then we could relinquish our powers and have an honest battle. Win, and your army may pass. Surely you realize neither of us will die from the other, but you still age like any mortal. Perhaps you will change your mind, say after a few years of battle. Your passion is fierce, but you shall not stop me. We will fight until waves and wind consume our bones if need be. If this is the only way to secure a chance for my house's untainted survival, then so be it. If you should win, then destroy the Tuatha in my house and the hateful witch knight Myrna. Then we can be truly free.
How can... You did it! You actually beat him! Guess I owe Ventrinio a drink. A promise is a promise, and the Witch Knights of Pride would be powerful allies to have on our side. I'll send a few soldiers along to help. Meanwhile, I'll get the other troops ready to move into Alabastra once that gate opens. The gate to Alabastra's still closed, and we can't open it without the House of Pride's help. Clean out the Tuatha inside, and we can move on. Get that gate open, and the army will be ready to go.
And he was not alone. Like the weave unraveling, the Tuatha now tainted the purity of Mathon's court. These new immortals, the Tuatha Daon, were no longer the solemn Fae of the East. Their essences twisted into a ravenous host, unsettled, unnatured. From the nothing of winter came Gadflow's malice. Everyone says you're a hero now, so go on and be heroic. Go on, go on. Haven't I already done enough? Liberate that Fae house. Do I need to hold your hand?
Sometimes one soldier can do what an entire army cannot. Whatever you're planning, now is the time. The House of Pride may be insufferable, but their magical powers are well known. Liberate them from the Tuatha. You got into Alabastra once. You can do it again.
don't let me stop you. Godflow's army still holds the House of Pride. Burn away the Tuatha, and we will be one step closer to victory. What does one do in the face of certain death?
How can one Fae be this much trouble?
With you here, we can't lose.
Halt! Parley in honor of Dren, if you please. If you would be so kind as to have a word with us. No. We are merely a representative of the few untainted pride remaining. We are most honored by your intention to free our house, thus our meeting here. We are in seclusion, so it's best to observe this situation without any unnecessary interference or risk to ourselves. I assure you, we will be more than happy to assist you in Alabastra. Loath as we are to get our hands dirty in this scuffle, perhaps we can offer a more indirect assistance. Simply carry forth and destroy Witch Knight Myrna, and her dreadful Prismere Chantry, of course. Vengeance is such a sloppy, boorish house. Marvelous fighters, of course, but simply crude. They all feel that the world has wronged them somehow. And perhaps it did. How else would they end up in such a hateful house? Myself? Why, this one is merely the lowest ranked of our house, and yet we have been chosen as the speaker for the Fae of Pride. To us falls the honor of acting as liaison to your mortal army. Your charming, well-bred, and simply lovely army. The Tuatha bred in our lands before we realized what change they truly represented. Certainly we all share a distaste for mortals, but few of us ever hunted them. As the Fae are above mortals, the House of Pride reigns above their fellow Fae, sharing our wisdom, our grace, and our humility. How Gadflow came to command such respect is beyond even our wisest. He was little more than a jester at the Winter Court. But he said he found the voice of Tirnoch, and she led him to power. And it seems he was correct. Prince Sidon is a Fae of noble tradition. He would never raise a hand against the High King, just as he would never bow before the Tuatha. We've been gifted with so much. It's only proper that we are also immortal, so as to put our gifts to the most use. Conversely, poor children of dust have so little, but are given barely a moment to live. How kind the world is. We eagerly anticipate your success.
Can there be so many?
Don't turn back.
How can there be so many?
Well done, child of dust. You've killed the immortal defender and liberated a house full of arrogant backstabbers. I should thank you for exposing the disloyal amongst my kin. But then, I have so much to thank you for. Your bravado is nothing more than the mewling of an angry kitten. Each Tuatha you kill makes the rest of us stronger. Each one feeds Tirnoch. The goddess of mercy awakens. And with every step you take into my homeland, she comes that much closer to walking our world and purging your kind. So welcome to Alabastra. It shall be the death of you once more. Well done, child. I should thank you for exposing the disloyal amongst my kin. Pride? Their betrayal was inevitable. But soon you faced the House of Vengeance, and their loyalty to Tirnoch is absolute. Pure. Instinct. The goddess of mercy awakens. And so, welcome.
We have seen our champion bested, our advantage lost, and our minds are cleared. Bravo to you, champion. House of Pride, in our ineffable wisdom, renounces the Tuatha and demands that you accept our immediate surrender. Then call it a mutual agreement. As agreed, we surrender to your army and provide what assistance we can against our former allies. Our mages have already been assisting your army in their march into Alabastra. We trust you do not object. Absolutely. Having seen your handiwork, we will endeavor to remain in your good graces. Allow us to welcome you to Alabastra. We trust your visit will be eventful.
The House of Pride opened its gates and welcomed us as honorary champions. They say it's simple hospitality, but I suspect we have you to thank. Now is the difficult part. We can hold Cluricon, even push a little into Alabastra, but we don't have the forces to mount a siege on Gadflow. Once the House of Pride gives their word, they'll never break it. At least, not while it looks like we're winning. Our real problem is that we can't march the army through Alabastra. Not in formation, at least. This will call for smaller groups. Where armies have been fated to fail, you have the chance to succeed. But you won't be alone. The army will secure a base at the mouth to Alabastra. Meanwhile, the 5 of us will split up and infiltrate quick and quiet as we can. Meet at the House of Vengeance, on Gadflow's doorstep. From there, we strike at Baal, the heart of his empire. Now that you've driven off the Tuatha, those House of Pride fools don't even want to acknowledge they ever served Gadflow. Disgusting little turncoats. But useful ones to have on our side, as long as we keep an eye on them. That's where we'll find Gadflow, and where we'll put an end to this whole war. I hope you're ready. This time. I'm sure you know more about it than I do. After all, you were here last. More than you'd think. But I promise I'll explain it all to you. Maybe once Gadflow's dead. I'll see you in Alabastra.
I need to talk with you, but not here. I'll find you in Alabastra. I've put together a few facts about your death, and I think I know something grave. But not here. I don't want to cause a panic. Gone, gutted, and good riddance to them. That'll teach them to stand on the wrong side of a war. You did kill them all, right? When you and I came to Alabastra, we were looking for the source of the Prismere's power. I never found it, but I think you did, and that's why you died. The frosted gem at the center of Alabastra, full of Prismere. But now it's a lot more full of enemies than it was when we snuck in there. I'll give them the slip and talk with you a little later.
We're not going to stop Gadflow by just standing here and chatting. Lead the way. I'll meet you at the House of Vengeance. Doesn't look like there was much of the House of Pride left to save. And I can't imagine they were happy about a mortal doing the saving, either. The Cur's the closest thing Vengeance has to a leader anymore. A Fae so consumed with hatred that he's little more than a beast. If you're going to get into Bale, the Cur has to die. You should have seen Alabastra at its prime. Serene and beautiful as a sky full of stars. Bale was the seat of the Winter Court. Every bit as cold as Issa is warm. But they're both beautiful in their own ways. I'll see you at the House of Vengeance.
You've got better luck this time, eh?
Next, we move on to Alabastra. Death, pain, blood, and unpleasant answers. Before Gadflow's rise, he was a battered whelp of a Fae. Now, his suffering has only added to his power. I hear he keeps a stable of trolls, but I can't be sure if they're his pets or his lovers. House of Pride, our shining beacon. Now its light is dim and faltering, but it still stands against the darkness, as it always has. The Pale Country, once the peaceful home to the Winter Court. Now Gadflow squats in her heart like a rot in the flesh. My homeland will not suffer this indignity. Together, we must extract the Tuatha, even if it means the end of my people. Bale, the icy heart of my people, with bridges of woven stone and ice. It sickens me to think of what Gadflow's people have done to it.
Welcome to Alabastra, hero. I'm no proper nature guide, but you see that wall up there, jutting beyond the height of that bridge? I heard a legend as a boy that said it's made of ice of pure winter, and it never melts. Beautiful, and a bit terrifying. Need something?
Hello. Praise Lyria! I thought you'd never arrive. Welcome to Camp Moondown. Are you with Captain Ancilla's company? His name is Corm, added to our outfit in Melsenshire after our previous healer was, I'll spare you the details. Anella Saf is one of ours, though she doesn't act like it. Her work makes up for her personality. Even more self-absorbed than a knave of pride over there. Ancilla was ordered to bring his men to reinforce Moondown, but he hasn't come. It took more deaths than I wish to admit to secure the pass between Chloricon and Alabastra. Now that it belongs to the Alfar, we intend to hold it. Moondown is the best position in the valley. If it falls, we fall with it. The war is not what I expected. I missed the Battle of Melsenshire. Only action I've seen until now has been escorting healers and weaponsmiths. I'm no warrior. I'm an Alfar noble turned bodyguard. We need soldiers, not heroes. Without help, we won't last long on this ridge. Still, any help is something. Will you lend a hand? Our commander and his Ariad rushed ahead to Shadow Pass, and the enemy moved in to divide us. Most of us left behind are dead, and the wounded might as well be. Each Tuatha attack is bigger, more brutal than the last. We need fresh sword arms, lots of them. Thank you. Without you, we could not... No! That's a Tuatha now! Come! Goodbye. should give you a taste of what we've been up against. To Arthur see this camp as sacrilege.